corn and pig roast on site. No, Stone Mills Township. That's here, right? Is it going to be here?
It's going to be here on site. Yep.
Corn and pig roast. It's appreciation dinner for the LOC, the local organizing committee, the volunteers, officials, skiers, and team officials. At 6:30 to 7:30 tomorrow night, we're going to have a firefighter demo, snowmobile watercross. Who's going to barefoot behind the snowmobile? Anybody?
I think, there's a lineup for people that want to do that.
Well, I know Keith St. Ange he's done it a few times. He's actually, I think, I've seen him do turns behind a snowmobile. There's videos out there if you don't believe me. And then an adaptive wakeboard demo. So that's all good stuff.
Yeah, we saw him practicing the other day. Pretty awesome. I mean, he can do things that I can't do. It was just amazing.
Who's that, Keith St. Ange?
No, on the adaptive wakeboard.
Oh, the guy on the adapted wakeboard. I'm going to check that out. And then 7:30 tomorrow night, there's an evening performance by the Thin City Band at the stage. So pretty action-packed. There's stuff going on here every night from tonight on. So plan to come out here and enjoy the camaraderie of your fellow skiers and officials and fans. For those fans that are watching on site within driving or flying distance, you definitely want to be here for the finals. Yeah, we got William Lee on the water, New Zealand.
It's got a couple of people cheering him on at the dock.
Yeah, he had a really nice trick run earlier today. This kid can turn. Really nice turner. I think he had some sevens in his trick run. We'll see what he can do here in the wake slalom event. Coming up left side of the wake, pass number 1, William Lee of New Zealand. There's a 1-foot cross. There's another one. There's cross number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look like 8 in a transition, maybe.
I had him 7 and then
7. Okay, maybe I'm ahead of myself
here. There, actually.
Yeah, let's take a look at where he usually comes in at.
Put that one at 7.8, but I could be the Russian judge today. 8.0. Okay, well, I am the Russian judge. They gave him 8.0. I had him just inside the wake, but they had him at 8.0 just outside the wake.
Yeah, it's probably a little deceiving when you watch him trick. It's fluid, but it doesn't look as crazy fast as some of the other guys. But I think it's just because of how he skis it nice and tight. He's got really good posture. One thing I noticed about him, I like the way he turns his hips. The belly button turns and points and faces the wake very consistently on the transition and set down. That was a really solid, clean run. Pretty impressed with what William Lee threw down for his first pass here.
William's down on hooking the slalom ball or slalom rope from the drop buoy at the end there, so that we don't yank that out on the way back here, and getting set up for his second pass.
So if the flies get too bad here, you can't do the back straight.
Oh, I haven't felt any bugs. I was like, maybe it's sprayed it. Pretty good. Yeah, we got William Lee with a first pass score of 8 and a personal best of, he put up a 15.4 at the Waikato Regionals this year and then went out and skied a 15.3 at the U.S. Nationals. So he's been pretty good at hitting 15-plus here in the recent outings that he's had. So let's see what he can do here. He's on the right side of the wake, setting up backwards for his first cross. And there's number 1, nice and clean, nice, holding that foot up nice and high. There's 2. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, looked like 7 and maybe a
7
transition.
and maybe a turn in. He had a little bobble lifting on one, but he touched it down and got it back up in time. So I don't think don't think there's any problem with those. They look clean to me.
Yeah, I think that's going to be right around where he skied his best, where his best number is there. That's going to be right around the 15 mark. We'll see if they gave him full credit for all those. He's a pretty clean skier. Yeah.
And indeed, they gave him 7.0 on that second pass for a provisional score of 15 for the 2 combined passes.
Yeah, that's about where he's been. as far as top of his game. He had, like I say, he had a 15-0, a 15-3 at the U.S. Nationals a few weeks ago, and a 15-4 at the Waikato Regionals in January. So that he's got to be pretty happy with that, unless he's skiing a lot beyond that in practice and was expecting more. But 15.0, close to where your top of your performance history there, I'd say that's pretty spectacular for William Lee.
Yeah, you get that close to your best in a Worlds under this kind of pressure, and you're pretty happy with that.
Next skier on the water, New Zealand's James Lean. Another big skier with lots of scores over 15. Had a couple 15-8s this year in tournaments. So let's see what he's got for his forward pass. Going to start forward, coming up, cheeking outside the wake, setting up in the right side of the wake and the curl here. Getting comfortable on the handle. And there we go, pass number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Didn't look like he quite got out on the 8th cross.
No, I don't think he got out on that 8th crossing, so he's going to get 7 and change on that one.
That's what I would put him at. It looked like he got through the center line, not quite over the, not quite to the crest of the wake there on the exit.
To the crest with the trailing foot. It's all based on where that trailing foot is when you've got 2 feet in the water, or the 1 foot if you're doing a 1 foot crossing, which obviously these Top Guns are. But he was just inside the wake for that one.
Yeah, it sounds like about what we saw there. 7.6 provisionals, what we're hearing from the judges on that first pass. So pretty much what we saw there on video. Good solid run. It's going to put him right there. And we had an 8.0 out of William Lee for a first cross, an 8.0 from Brem Allen, and a 7.8 from George Weeks. So he's kind of right up there with the the top skiers that have skied thus far. So right now we still have Brem Allen of Canada in the lead with a 16, looking like William Lee in the second spot with a 15. It's going to put Chen Ye on the bubble here. He's sitting in the 12th spot right now.
Him before the center line.
Oh, really? I thought he was
almost out.
He must have had an early clock.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right, here we go. James Lean, New Zealand, coming up pass number 2. He's got a 7.6 in his first pass. Skiing this one backwards. Here we go, right to left. Nice 1 foot. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, nice run for James Lean. That looked like all of 8, maybe even a transition 8, and those look clean too.
I was pretty clean, and it did look like he might have got the transition in time. It might just be 8 even, or 8 and change.
Yeah, that might have been like right around a 15.6 or so there, or even a little better if he gets the transition. That's not quite where the Brem Allen 16 is, I don't think, but yeah, that's a solid 8.0 second pass there for James Lean. What a great run that was. Going to give him a provisional 15.6. and that's going to move him into the second spot right now behind Brem Allen with 16.0.
Yeah, you got to be careful giving them the turn in because it's not where they actually plant their foot to come back. It's when they start making motion towards the wake. And so he had planted his foot, but the time had gone off before he'd actually slowed himself down enough to get moving the other direction.
Here we go. We're going to bring out the next skier. It's going to be Logan Walter, USA. Logan's put up some solid scores, had over 15 his last two tournaments. Here we go. There's 1 foot cross. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8. I saw a solid 8 out of Logan Walter.
I'm thinking they might actually cut that one down to zone 3, so he might be.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, it might be 7.8 on that one.
One of the things that stood out for me, Terry, did you watch Logan ski? I mean,
there wasn't a bobble, there wasn't a wobble, there was nothing there.
It was nice, but was unique.
And the judges given a provisional score of 7.8, zone 3 on that one.
Yeah, you were right. You saw that. What I noticed, what was unique about Logan Walter's run. Do you see where his eyes were focused the whole trip? I mean, it was almost like he kind of dropped some change or something on the ground and he was looking for it. But I've never seen it. What was unique to me, his eyes were focused kind of on the other side of the wake, but down. It's one of those things where some skiers like to focus up at the horizon more. He was actually staring down but out in front, like to where he was going, like where he was targeting. As he was crossing the lake, it was almost like he was staring through just focused. His eyes never moved either side. It was really, I've never seen that.
Well, it seems to work for him and get the pace that he's got there.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. But it was smooth and clean.
Well, I've heard slalom skiers, stick skiers doing that. You always want to look beyond the ball and where you're going. And, when I saw his eyes focused, they were looking at the target transition spot both ways, and it was different. I mean, it's unique for him and what I've seen compared to the other skiers here. So here we go. Skier on the water, Logan Walter, pass number 2, coming up backwards, skiing out to the left side. There's 1. There's 2. 3. 4. Wow. Oh.
Loses the handle
it
completely. Oh, disaster.
Came up the wake on, it was his 5th cross, and as he was coming up the crest, his upper body just kept getting taller. He got up on top of the table and was almost straight up and down.
That was nearly a backdoor exit there that was saved by letting go of the handle.
Yeah, that's right. That was not a hard fall. He just let go of the handle and basically, I think, sank at that point before he took a back slap.
Oh, his heart sank long before he sank into the water after letting go of that handle.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one there. Got a kid who just skied a couple 15s in a row, posting a 12.1 there after losing the handle on that second pass. So 12.1 is where we're at with Logan Walter. We're going to move on, and we're going to bring out Ben Franks of Australia.
I'd like to thank all the panel of judges that fly in from all around the world to give world-class judging for all of these events. These people come in and devote their time and energy to making sure we have a fair competition, that everybody gets the same conditions and everybody gets, the best that we can provide, and consistent following the rules and making sure that this is a good competition for everybody.
Duck Steven cheer. Some duck down there with a call. Okay, here we go. Ben Franks. Australia on the water. First pass coming up forward. Big fan support section there on the shoreline, cheering him on. Snapping that handle, setting up. Here we go. Pass number one is a nice fast pass. Boy, I like the form here for Ben Franks. A lot of speed. Parallel thighs, butt low. Oh, he stalled out there on one of his crosses. Probably like 5. Got it back together, though. That might cost him a little time. Not sure where he came in. I kind of lost track. He came over on one of them in transition. Something happened there with the foot on the water, and he just kind of stalled out. Almost. I
think he's still got 7 crosses in, even with the stall there.
Okay, he's a consistent 15 guy. He actually skied his best score ever at his last tournament, the South America Winter Tournament. He had it in 2018 in June.
7.0, is that what they said?
Yeah, it sounds like we have a provisional score for Ben Franks of 7.0. So he just skied a 16.0 in a tournament here in June, not here in South America. It looks like 2018 Winter Tournament 16.0. So
without that hesitation on pass number 5, he would have had that 8 pace there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It looked like it stalled him out, and good composure though. That was in the middle of his run. It wasn't at the end, so he still had to finish to get to a 7, and he did. He dialed in some nice crosses after that, and made the most of it. So that those things, as we saw. I mean, let's look back at senior men's. I mean, 0.1 right now was the difference in making it to the next level. So that's the thing you got to keep in mind. You got to ski everything you can in the amount of time you're given, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that it's not a fraction of a point that's separating you from getting into the next event, the next round. Here we go. There's a nice 1-foot cross. Coming back on 2. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, nice run. Probably an 8. I don't know if I saw a transition there.
Escape the judges on that one, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think he's going to end up around 15. Be my guess, somewhere around that 15 mark, which, based on what we got on the board here, that's right there near the top. Yeah, still holding on to a provisional score. I'm thinking it was pretty solid. Again, we're going to take 12, so right now the bubble guy, Don Schwartz, at 11, based on what we've seen, I think is what it's stacking up to be. Two more groups to go, or not two, but a group, roughly a group and a half. The next skier out is going to be Jerry Canoyer of the USA.
We got a little bit of rain coming down here, which might affect their forward passes, won't affect their backward passes at all, but it's pretty light rain, so probably doesn't even show up on the live stream video. It barely shows up here on the lake, so shouldn't be a big factor.
Yeah, I highly doubt it's going to be a factor for a guy that does 3 flips in his trick run. It's a single trick pass. So let's see what the flipper, Jerry Canoyer, can do here in the wake event. There we go. There's a nice cross. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Didn't quite got a 7 in transition.
I think he got a 7 in a transition. His foot was just before the wake on that one, but they all look pretty clean. He keeps his foot low. It's tough. It's hard to see. I didn't see any early touchdowns or anything like that, so it looked pretty clean. 7.2 should be.
Yeah, that's what I saw, Terry. I think you're exactly right. He didn't quite get to the top of the crest, but definitely had a transition going there. Stayed nice and low. I really liked the rhythm and how low he skied, and it wasn't a defensive low. It was a speed low. So he really kept the foot underneath him. He had nice foot angle, kept the thighs nice and tight there, going back and forth. So pretty solid run there for Jerry Canoyer.
Yeah, no wasted effort, great pace, and we should get a good score on that one.
Yeah, Jerry put up a 16.0 at the Western Regionals in the U.S. just a couple months ago, and he's been over that. He had a 16.2 a couple years ago in Silverado in California, or out on the west coast of the U.S. in 2015.
Yeah, Lake Silverado, Doug Jordan's home lake, and strangely enough, the site of last year's Canadian Nationals down in the States. We had chose to do it out there because they not long on sites out in British Columbia, so we just popped across the border, and thank you very much to Doug Jordan for that.
Yeah, you guys aren't trying to nationalize Doug Jordan's assets, are you? Okay, here we go. We got Jerry Canoyer coming up backwards, pass number 2 on the board with a 7.0. Here we go, backwards, 1 foot. There's cross number 2. Looked like he scored it. Got a little wide. There's 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be about 6.5 for me, I think, on that.
Yeah, I put his trailing foot just before the center line there, so yeah, should be 6.6 on that one. He got a little wide on that one, and it really throws your rhythm off. And when you get in that groove and you get that rhythm and you're back and forth and your timing's spot on, it's great. But then you have one of those little bobbles that throws your rhythm off.
Yeah, I thought he did good reining it back in, but you can't make up the time it costs to get back. I mean, this event it's a matter of seconds and fractions of seconds to get points. Every use of every second really counts and matters, especially when you got 30 guys going after 12 spots. Next skier on the water going to be USA's Mikey Caruso. Starting to get confirmed scores here. Looks like William Lee's 15.0 is on the board. James Lean, we heard a provisional 15.6. That's down at 15.1, but still the second highest score so far. And we have not yet. We got the 12.1 posted now for Logan Walter. So Ben Franks, as you just saw, we're thinking maybe like a 6.6 on his, so 13.6-ish. And here we go. We got Mikey Caruso, USA, coming up forward for his first pass. And there's cross number 1's a nice one. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. 5. 6. 7, 8. Boy, about 7.5
Yeah,
there.
7.6 on that one.
Yeah.
And boy, nice and clean. He gets that foot up high. It's real obvious for the judges that that is clear of the water all the way across on those crossings. Makes it look so easy.
Okay, we got a great score here coming in for Ben Franks of Australia. They look like his first pass score must have been upgraded, but 16.0 for Ben Franks of Australia, tied with Brem Allen for the lead right now. That's a great score. And we're not even halfway through the second group here yet. This is going to be a slugfest. Still waiting on a score for Jerry Canoyer. We don't have that posted yet, but as of right now, with Ben Franks being posted, it's Don Schwartz is the man on the bubble with 11.0.
Like to say thanks to Deerhaven Farm and Garden Limited. Those green John Deere tractors over there hooked up to those brand new Sangers. It really helps to have some dedicated vehicles here to put them in the water and pull them out. And certainly those tractors make that easy. And they've been a big supporter of us here on this site for all of the years that we've had nationals.
All right, we're going to bring in Mikey Caruso on his second pass. We didn't get a provisional on his first. I think it was 7.5-ish 1 foot there. There's number 3 on the backwards ones. 4, skiing them nice and clean. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 in the transition back.
Yeah, I was a little late on the timer there, so I'm going to go with 8 clean and not give him a transition.
Yeah.
But because I think the judges were not dealing with the advertising part of things.
We could be somewhere around, 15.6, 15.8 for a composite score for Mikey?
Yeah, that's right up there.
Next skier on the water, we're going to bring out USA's Bryce Storman.
I know there's people over at the start dock that can hear this timer going off, and they're going, oh, yeah, that transition was in for sure. But keep in mind, it takes a little while for the sound to get over to you guys from the booth, so don't give them that extra 0.1 seconds for the sound delay to get over to the booth.
Okay, we're going to bring out Bryce Storman. This kid's on fire. He's the last 4 tournaments he skied in, he went 16+. Had a 16.8 at the Midwest Regionals and Wake Slalom. U.S. Barefoot Nationals, 16.5. He's going to be pushing the bar here for this group so far. Right now we've got 16.0 as the top score, and Bryce Storman's certainly capable of taking over the top spot. Open Men's Series 3 slalom results have now been posted over on the bulletin board by the judges' stand. It's Open Men's Series 3 slalom scores are posted on the bulletin board over by the judges' tower there. And we're just about ready to put Bryce Storman on the water here. And here we go. Coming up forward for his first pass, Bryce Storman, USA. There's 1. There's cross number 2. Nice 1 foots. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 in the transition.
Yeah, that's the same. And boy, that raised foot on some of those came close, but no touchdowns. They all look clean.
Oh, and there we go. The Danny Bumgardner, Cameron Smith dismount kind of thing going on there, right? Or Doug Jordan dismount, I should say, at the end. Boy, that's, we've seen that quite, more often than I'm accustomed to seeing it. Bryce Storman skied out the pass and then did a couple somersaults at the end of the course there. So hopefully he didn't, he's a young guy. They're pretty elastic. But, yeah, that was probably an 8 in transition. But Terry, you mentioned it, and I noticed it right away too. You watch guys like a Gordy Croteau come out and trick, and his foot that he picks up is about waist high. Bryce Dorman, it's more like, I don't know, 4 inches off the water. To me, it was clear. It was up off the water pretty much on every pass, but it wasn't very high off the water.
Well, maybe it just looks the same. I mean, waist high on Gordy might be the same height as this guy, raising it up a little bit. So Gordy's over there on the start dock. He can hear this. He's going to come over and hit me before his run.
Or there may be some practical joke retaliation going on. You might want to look under your vehicle for 3-day-old redfish or something like that, cooking in the sun. Okay, here we go. Bryce Dorman, USA. He's going to set up. Look like a pretty good stand-up pass, maybe around that 8 mark for first pass. He's going to come up backwards on pass number 2. Towboat under power. Here we go. Bryce Dorman skiing out to the right side, setting up in the right curl, adjusting the handle, getting comfortable there. And here we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Vicious pace.
5, 6, 7, 8. 8 in a transition. Wow.
8 in a transition. Got a little wide on one, and that cost him a little time.
I'll tell you what, that's
6,
some nice skiing.
Whoa.
Bryce Dorman, there's, really good relaxed ankle. When he comes through the wake, he's fast. He's just gliding. That foot is, it's just gliding on top of the water. He just, does a really good job with the foot positioning. Kept it pretty nice and tight. I mean, you're putting up 8s. You got to be doing a lot of things right. So I think it was an 8 and maybe some change.
Yeah, they're giving him 8 on the first and 8.2 on the second as a provisional score for a 16.2 provisional score.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid score. That's, right around the top of where Bryce Dorman's been skiing. Not his best score, but definitely a solid score, and that will give him the top spot here at this point in the competition, I believe. Yeah, we ended up getting a 13-4 for Jerry Canoyer. Still waiting on an official score for Mikey Caruso. But right now, here we go. No, we didn't flash that up yet. But 16.2, if that stands, that'll be the top score for Bryce Dorman right now, ahead of 16.0 by Brem Allen of Canada. And we've got a 16.0 posted for Ben Franks of Australia.
And Canada hopes to stick another score up there with the leaders with Gordy coming up right now. The rope's tightening up on Gordy Croteau.
Gordy Croteau standing up on top of the crest, skiing out to the right side, getting comfortable in the wake. Here we go. There's 1. Wow, he took off. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, almost 9 crosses. It was 8 and past the center line.
Just past the center line on that one. It was pretty close. It's hard to say whether it would be 0.6 or 0.8 on that. But that was just, he sticks that foot in the water and takes off on crossing number 1 and doesn't slow down.
8.6.
Yeah, they gave him an 8.6 on that one. That was an absolutely fabulous pace for Gordy. He usually catches the judges off guard there with that vicious start because he just sticks that foot in and rockets across on.
Yeah, he took off.
1.
That was one to challenge the guy running the clock there. You got to be on your game, or you're going to fall behind in a hurry with that start. But to me, it was just what we talked about when we were watching Bryce Dorman. You saw the foot there, Gordy Croteau. I'm amazed when you can ski an 8.6 and pick your foot up as waist high on your crosses.
There is no doubt he's got that foot off of the water. And, if that foot comes down and touches the water early, it's because he's about to eat it.
Yeah, we've seen some big scores out of Gordy. He's put up 18 plus in this event.
He calls this his bread and butter.
Yeah, I would say he just buttered his bread on that last pass. That was a heck of a run. So here we go. Gordy Croteau, Canada coming back. There's 1, 2, coming in backwards. 3 1-foot crosses. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looked like a solid 8.
I think that was a 7.8 on that one would be my call. Didn't quite get outside the wake on that one, I think, so I'm going 7.8 on that. And he's on the beach.
Either way, that should be enough to take over the top spot. That's 16-2. We had just seen Bryce Storman put up. I think he's definitely gone beyond that. You know, you were saying 7.8. We heard an 8.6 provisional, so you know he's
16.4 up there.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's probably
was
a worst
pretty
case
clean,
scenario.
pretty fast-paced slalom coming out of Gordy. There's the kind of day he was hoping to have here. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's no question. There was definitely no early set downs. If anything, I would have said he got wide. He skied it wide.
He was a little wide on
Yeah.
number 3, and a couple others he got a little wide. So the pace could have been even better. He'll save that for the final. It's clear the little bit of rain that's coming down did not affect Gordy's passes one iota, because that was great.
Yeah, and unfortunately we got the reminder here on the next guy, Everett Artson. Unfortunately, not going to be able to ski. And Everett, we hope you're feeling better as the minutes go by. Brody Meskers, next skier. Brody Bam Meskers, USA. Brody's a kid that can he can put it up. He's most recently been skiing his best scores ever in this event. He's putting up 16 plus. He had a 16.8 this year at the Midwest Regional. So if he skis that, he'll be our new leader. And we're getting down to the point where you know what we've got 11 guys in the next group. So the scores are really it's going to start becoming evident here in a hurry.
Yeah, it's going to get real for some of these guys on the bubble down here.
Yeah, it absolutely is. We're going to be getting close to the cutoffs here and knowing who's going into the next round. So it starts right here for Brody Meskers, USA, setting up on the right side of the wake. Going to come in forward for his pass, stretching it out, getting comfortable. And here we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not sure he got all the way out on 8.
I think that's 7.8 on that one. I think he
Yeah.
was just inside the curl on that last crossing when the timer went off here.
Yeah, nice job for Brody. He he keeps it nice and tight there. I like how he keeps the handle down in his runs, but the thing I got to remember is, we had the trick event earlier, and Brody's a solid tricker. He's over 7,000, getting close to 8,000. He didn't ski this morning, and I know it's there's some health things he's trying to get right, so he can continue to ski some of the events here at the World. So to see him out here and ski just about an 8 to me, that's a great sign that he's feeling better and hopefully going to dial his tournament in the rest of the way. Oh, okay. Getting some news from the doc. I guess that kind of explains it. I had just mentioned that, Brody had some issues that kept him out of the trick round earlier. Just hearing that, and what's confusing is we saw the sheet in the boat. It said Brody Meskers on it. So, but yeah, you're right. That looking at the skier in the water, that does not look like Brody Meskers. That is Hugo Shaw, New Zealand.
Yeah, we get a quick glance of the score sheets when they're just at the start dock, and it said Brody, but hopefully they got that sorted out in the boat as well.
Yeah, here we go. Hugo Shaw, New Zealand, coming in. He is the final skier in this group. We're going to have a boat crew change after this, move on to the Series 1, but for now, here we go. Hugo Shaw coming in backwards. Pass number 2. There's a nice 1-foot cross. There's 2. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, solid 9 for Hugo Shaw.
That was an absolutely amazing pace on the backwards pass. That was just incredible.
Yeah, that was a big boy run there. You're putting up 9s in a run. You're going to be chasing the big guys on top. That
yeah, his forward pace wasn't as fast as some of the others, but that backwards pace is the best we've seen so far.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. He tweaks a few things. He's looking at 18s. He's going to raise the bar here for this group. Again, he's the last skier in this group, so that runs like that. Take notice, boys and men in the Series 1 group. There's some guys coming after you here.